Hello and welcome to another episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. I'm Caroline and I am back with another episode talking about all things sourdough microbakery. This episode is directly following the Breadwinner Summit, and if you've been part of it, you know the energy just feels really high still. It was an incredible 2 days, just absolutely amazing to see so many sourdough microbaker owners with a similar goal, gathering together, building each other up, connecting, collaborating, learning together. And the experts, the sessions that we had were incredible. We all learned so much. If you've been watching the summit and now you're watching on YouTube, you know that I've been sitting out here on my porch. It has been glorious, and I guess this is just kind of my new office now. So we'll see how the sound quality is on this recording. It might sound a little bit different from normal, but I just couldn't bring myself to go inside. I'm recording this episode a little bit short notice, just debriefing after the summit. We had nearly 2,000 people get a ticket. We had about 1,000 people joining inside the summit space. And I just am feeling so energized and excited and thrilled. What I want to talk about today is mindset. This is a theme that I saw come up quite a lot during the summit, both in the experts talks and in the Q&As and in the discussions that we saw in the community. So, as we have a goal of building a profitable, purposeful business that is burnout proof, mindset comes into play a lot more than we usually recognize. So, this is not like fluffy, feel good mindset, but it's just the quiet, steady beliefs that shape the way that we show up in our work, the way that we view our pricing, our growth, our rest. We're going to walk through some top 5 mindset shifts that can be have the most impact as small business owners. And I'm going to include a little bit of highlights from some of the sessions as I kind of walk through these. So if you've ever felt stuck or questioned if you're doing it right, or wondered if you're cut out for it, running a business, you're not alone. That's something that so many people struggle with. Every so often, I have a moment where I'm like, should I be doing this? Should I just go work for someone else? We work through that, and a lot of that is mindset and choice and consistency and knowing why we're doing what we're doing. So let's walk through the top 5 mindset shifts that will help you build a business that truly works in real life. So, number 1, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. This came up in a session or kind of a thread woven through it, or something that someone was saying within a community conversation. I saw the idea of imposter syndrome come up multiple times. This is a really big one. And I shared in my Q&A yesterday, someone asked about imposter syndrome, and I said, you know what, sometimes you just have to, for your own sake, fake it till you make it. Sometimes the action of faking it till we make it is for our own self more than for the people that we are. I shared that I am not the most qualified person to be sharing a podcast. There's plenty of other people who could speak with more experience, speak from a longer amount of time of owning a business. But sometimes it comes down to you're the one for the job. You are the one who is correctly positioned to take action and to fulfill the need where you are. And whether or not you're the most qualified, whether or not you have had professional culinary experience, you have the training, whether or not you have years and years of learning, you're just the one for the job. You can't get into the mindset of someone else could do this better, or there's someone else doing this and no one's doing it exactly like you. No one brings exactly perspective. No one's going to show up in your space exactly the way you will. And no one else, you are the person for the job. My business coach recently said, if you feel like an imposter, that is a really good sign because that means you're doing something new. You are not going to feel like an imposter if you're doing the same thing that you've always done, that you are just showing up the same way that you always have. That imposter syndrome feeling like you're not qualified, you're not the best person to be speaking on a certain topic is a good sign because you are growing. You're trying something that's pushing you out of your comfort zone and you're being forced to show up in a new way. So lead into that. Think about how you can own your new role. In Sarah's session, she talked about no matter the size of the business, this is our trade, this is our profession. Doesn't matter if we're selling 10 loaves a week or 100 loaves or anywhere in that range or more. We are professionals and we can own that. We need to own that. So the idea from my coach of imposter syndrome being a good sign was kind of like a permission slip. You are not going to feel like an imposter if you're repeating something you've already mastered. So next time that thought starts to creep in, reframe it. Instead of I'm not good enough or I'm not experienced enough or qualified, try this is evidence that I'm growing into the next more elevated version of myself. You're not an imposter. You're a beginner in a new level of your journey. And there's nothing more real than that. That is the exact opposite of imposter. You're not faking it. You are absolutely owning this next big step. Number 2, you cannot outwork poor pricing. This is a mic drop. Megan Morales, Purple Elephant Group. Y'all have heard her twice on the show, on the podcast. You love her. She said, if your people are saying that your prices are too low, then they probably are. This means that if you're underpricing, if you've had anyone say, oh, I didn't expect it to be that much, or something along those lines, that means that they're already paying that price or more for someone somewhere else, and it's time for you to raise your prices. When you're underpricing, you end up running a sprint that you cannot sustain. You can love what you're doing, and you'll still end up exhausted, broke, resentful, burnt out, frustrated, and that is a fast track to burnout. So sustainable businesses are priced for reality, for your time and your packaging, your ingredients, your value. If you're constantly hustling but still not making ends meet, it's time to pause and rework your numbers. Your business is allowed to pay you. In fact, it has to pay you if it's going to last. Mindset shift number 3. Connection beats competition. One of my favorite moments from the summit came from Terra Welch, and she shared how she started a group chat with 5 local bakers. She reached out to her competition, air quotes, the people who were baking in her local area, and it has grown into a community in Arizona of over 60 bakers, and they have gone from competition to really proving the way that we all win when we support each other. So that is what I hope you experience from the summit, that sense of you're not alone. There are other people in your town, in your state, in your season of business. When you collaborate, you grow faster and you feel less alone. You feel less isolated. You feel empowered to take the next step. You have a resource. Entrepreneurship can be so lonely, but you do not need to be lonely. You don't need a massive following. You don't need a huge community, but you do need meaningful relationships and connecting with people in your area or even in an online community of like-minded people can bridge that gap, can take you from isolated and alone and frustrated, connected and supported and equipped. Shift number 4, done is better than perfect. Consistency is going to win every single time. If you have ever scrapped an idea because it wasn't perfect, raise your hand. I'm right there with you. So perfectionism is sneaky. It tells you that waiting until everything is polished is noble, but really it's fear dressed up as productivity. Baking feels so personal. It is, you are putting your hands on that product. You're putting your love and intention into that product. And so it can be really hard to get stuck wanting every loaf to be perfect, wanting our branding to be perfect, wanting all of our ducks to be in a row before we take the next step, whether that's just beginning your business or whether that's approaching someone for a collaboration or adding a new product. Whatever that is, it can be so easy to let that wish for perfection or that goal for perfection hold us back. Now, it's one thing to hold high standards. We need high standards, we need consistency, but perfection can quietly kill your momentum. In James's talk, he actually mentioned how he does not believe that we should be striving for perfection, but rather for consistency. If we're baking the same thing over and over, even if it's not the textbook perfect loaf, our customers know what to expect. And we can continually improve marginally over time, but consistency rather than overproofed, underproofed, all over the map is going to trump perfection. So in a social media context, posting regularly, even when the lighting is not perfect, even if regular is just once a week, this could look like showing up to market, even if your signage is homemade or you just have a table and a tablecloth. Nothing fancy, no professional branding, just showing up at the same place over and over so people learn where to find you. Launching the new menu, even if the graphics aren't flawless, even if your photos aren't absolutely perfect, just take the step to make the action. Perfection will slow you down. It's going to keep you stuck. Consistency will grow your audience and your confidence and your revenue. Kala Hembree shared a little bit about this in her session about workshops. She could have waited until all of her systems were perfect before she started teaching. Instead, she just started. And 2 years later, she's taught over 2,300 students. She's created a whole new, beautiful revenue stream. She took the small, brave first steps, and then she took consistent next steps to create real momentum. The fact that we are 77 episodes into this podcast, we are approaching a full year, and I have been sharing 2 episodes a week almost every single week since July. Proof that consistency, just those consistent small steps, choosing to show up over and over, can turn into something absolutely mind-blowing. I would never have imagined that back when I was starting the podcast in July, that it would lead to gathering 2,000 fellow bakers online from all over the world and growing together in the space. Just take the first step. You never know where it'll take you, and then take the next step and let that snowball start growing and rolling, and let me know what your next step is. Okay, finally, mindset shift number 5. This one is so good. This business is about more than bread. This one showed up in every single session of the summit, whether it was spoken or whether it was just woven through the message. From Sarah's powerful keynote to Wendy House's honor system model to Maria Baradell's messaging talk, the theme was, we're not just here to sell loaves. We are stewards of something deeper. We are building community. We are advocating for real food. We're creating rhythms that support our homes and nourish others. Small does not mean insignificant. Small means personal and powerful and needed. We do not need to be huge to have impact. We do not need to be huge influencers on Instagram. We do not need a massive following. We can serve our small audience and show up consistently and show up well. And that is exactly what is needed. That is exactly what is needed in this movement that we are part of shifting the tide of food in the US. I know we have people listening outside of the US, but we know that the US is uniquely broken in this area a little bit, and we are part of changing it. It's a long-term plan that we're part of, but owning your small neighborhood, your role as the village baker in your really close proximity is going to turn the tide. I'm so proud of you for being here. And if you're feeling fired up or a little less alone, if you were part of the summit and you loved it and you didn't want it to end, there's a next step. And the next step is sticking right in the same space where we had the summit. You don't have to leave. And it's the Breadwinner Network. This is going to be a private membership space for sourdough microbakery owners. All of you listening who want to grow with support and strategy and intention, who want to be connected with those people who understand why we would choose to start our day at 3 in the morning and why we're exhausted all day long, but we still absolutely love what we're doing. So these are your people, and this is a membership community where we're taking the inspiration of the summit and turning it into implementation. So you'll find monthly Q&A calls with me. We will bring in expert guests. I am going to be sharing private secret podcast episodes in there. This is going to be really fun. As the podcast grows, I have so many guests, just a backlog of guest applications to get through. And in order to bring in all of those, but still bring the solo episodes that I love, I'm going to be bringing some of those solo conversations into this private space. I'll still show up here solo sometimes too, because I love it. But I'll just share stream of consciousness, unedited conversations in that space. And it's going to be really cool. This is going to be just a community of bakers who are just like you. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but without the algorithm. It's smaller, more intimate, more connected, so supportive. So you can chat in there, you can post and ask questions and connect. We will also be doing a quarterly reset workshop. I'm a really big believer in taking a step back each quarter and checking in with your values and the mission of your business and making sure that you're still aligned. And if you need to adjust, every quarter is a really good time to take a look and see what might need to change. That and more is all going to be inside of the Breadwinner Network. Like I said, it is an intimate community that you get to stick around with if you didn't want to leave the summit. There's a link down in the show notes for the waitlist. It's going to open really soon, so you won't be on the waitlist very long, but you'll get a message. And if you did join the summit with your upgraded all access pass, those first 30 days in the Breadwinner Network are going to be free. And then it's just going to be $17 a month after that. It's not a huge investment, but it's an investment that you're worthy of taking to be connected and to be built up in this community in a really intentional way. So you are part of something really important. You're part of a whole movement, and you're not behind. You're not too small. You're not alone. You're building something that matters. And I'm here to support you and cheer you on in your business growth. And whether you join the Breadwinner Network or not, I am going to continue showing up here each week, supporting you and bringing you actionable insights, strategies, and conversations with fellow bakers like you, where we just go deep into building a thoughtful, intentional, successful business. As always, I'll be back very soon with another episode. If you have not liked, followed, subscribed to the show, make sure you do that so you don't miss an episode, because they drop every Monday and Thursday. And it would mean the world to me if you've listened to an episode that really clicked with you. Share that episode with another baker friend, and that helps grow the show and helps more people find it and become connected and lifted up in this space. And that really is the bottom line. We just want to continue growing together because we are better together. And the more that we can collaborate and connect and share what works, the more that rising tide will lift all the ships. Okay, I am so glad you're here. I love being with you. I'm thankful that you've taken a little bit of time to listen and learn with me today. I'll be back soon. And in the meantime, happy baking.